A familiar face wandered back into Giants Stadium last Sunday in the person of Rob Carpenter. The New York running back had not played a down since last January. He arrived with an optimistic outlook, but look out, the long layoff had taken its toll on number 26. As Carpenter and the Giants faltered, the Houston Oilers grabbed a 14-3 lead in the fourth quarter when quarterback Archie Manning threw a touchdown pass to tight end Dave Casper, number 87. Casper backed in with a touchdown that stood the Oilers head and shoulders above the Giants, at least until Archie Manning caught the eye of number 56 and went face-to-face with New York linebacker Lawrence Taylor. Giant blitzes fired up a New York offense that responded with 2 final period touchdowns, both by rookie Butch Woolfolk, number 25. Woolfolk's play of the day brought the Giants from behind to win 17-14. But with just 2 wins and 3 losses, the Giants' playoff hopes remain clouded, as did those of the Chicago Bears. The Bears were drubbed by the Vikings the week before, but on this afternoon, the haze over Soldier Field cleared for rookie quarterback Jim McMahon. McMahon threw for 2 first-quarter scores, one to Ken Marjoram, number 82, as the Bears built a 14-0 lead. The defense then held the Patriots to 13 total points and chipped in 2 of their own with a safety in the second period. The Bears got all the scoring they needed in the first half, and when Jim McMahon rolled right to ring up his first NFL touchdown run, the Bears slid back into the win column, 26-13. While the sky opened up in Chicago, there was nothing but mud, muck, and mire in Milwaukee as the Packers and Bills wallowed on the floor of County Stadium. The 2 teams combined for 9 fumbles, and the Packers turned 2 Buffalo miscues into early field goals. And in the end, it was the Packers who had the sure hands. A reverse end-around to wide receiver James Lofton and a Lynn Dickey to John Thompson's scoring pass helped the Packers outmatch the slumping Bills 33-21. The mismatch of the day appeared to shape up in Baltimore, where the totally new-look Colts took on the formidable Cincinnati Bengals. Rookie quarterback Mike Pagel, number 18, and the Colts had not scored a point since before the strike, back on September 19th. With more new faces than a maternity ward, the youthful Colts fought off their growing pains and found the end zone quickly. Mike Pagel to Raymond Butler, number 80. Butler's spike was the Colts' first in nearly 3 months. Against a suddenly competitive Colt defense, Bengal quarterback Ken Anderson still completed 76% of his passes, but not this one. Number 80, Chris Collinsworth, played touch and go with the end line, but his catch, it was pointed out, was disallowed. However, Anderson threw 3 touchdown passes in all, one on a precise get-up-and-go pattern to Steve Kreider, number 86. The Colts then scrambled back from a 10-point deficit as two rookies, quarterback Pagel and tight end Pat Beach, teamed for 6 points. With 28 seconds remaining, Baltimore had the chance to tie, but a field goal attempt sailed wide, and the Bengals won 20-17. The winless Colts threw a scare into Forrest Gregg's first-place Bengals and gave Colt headman Frank Kush some satisfaction. His monumental rebuilding job is showing signs of progress. The Colts are finally showing signs of life. The Los Angeles Coliseum is where the Raiders now hang their hat. And against the Seattle Seahawks last Sunday, that hat became a gold crown that fits snugly on the head of rookie running back Marcus Allen, number 32. Allen's rushing performance made him king for a day, as he topped all NFL running backs with 156 yards. Allen scored on 2 short touchdown runs and set up one by Kenny King, number 33, to help give the Raiders a comfortable 28-0 lead. But like a 16-game NFL season, nothing can be taken for granted these days. Number 80, Steve Largent's reception provided Seattle with their first points, and a Jim Zorn to Roger Carr touchdown threatened to turn the Raiders' gold crown into one of thorns. The Seahawks pulled to within 5 points, 28-23, but their comeback hopes were ended by a last-minute interception that preserved the Raiders' 4th win. Like the Raiders, the Pittsburgh Steelers are another NFL team that have gotten off on the right foot, thanks in part to a defense that likes to step on a few toes. The Steel Curtain held the Kansas City Chiefs to only 2 scores, one with the game already decided, while Terry Bradshaw proved his bruised shoulder was feeling pretty good. Bradshaw completed 15 of 20 passes for 231 yards and 3 touchdowns, including 2 to John Stallworth in Pittsburgh's 35-14 win. For those who keep wanting to commit these aging Steelers to an old folks' home, Pittsburgh's 4-1 record proves they're not quite ready for wheelchairs and pacemakers. Likelier candidates are the fans in Washington, who are experiencing heart failure caused by the excitement of their team's newfound success. But after 4 games of smooth sailing, Washington was finally tripped up by the Dallas Cowboys. Constantly pressured by the doomsday defense, Joe Theismann and the Redskin offense stumbled through 3 scoreless quarters. On the other hand, Danny White and the Cowboy offense had little trouble keeping their feet clear. Despite Washington's record, the verdict is not yet out on the Redskin defense, and Timmy Newsome's 3rd quarter touchdown run kept the jury deliberating a little longer. Newsome's score gave Dallas a 17-0 lead, but just when sentencing was about to be handed down, Theismann earned the Redskins a reprieve. Number 87, Charlie Brown's touchdown reception, his 6th in 5 games, narrowed the score to 17-10 in the 4th quarter. Unfortunately, Washington's reprieve was only temporary, for a Ron Springs 46-yard touchdown run closed the case in favor of the Cowboys. Dallas's 24-10 win was their fourth straight since an opening day loss, placing them atop the NFC along with Green Bay and Washington. For the Redskins, the disappointment of suffering their first defeat of the 1982 season was magnified as the game marked Washington's sixth straight loss to their bitter division rivals. If pro football remains a kid's game played by grown-up boys, one of the last vestiges of that axiom is running back Wendell Tyler of the Los Angeles Rams. In this dark, dank, and dismal season for the men from Lotus Land, number 26 has shone like a beacon. Facing the once incandescent 49ers, Tyler, the NFC's second leading rusher, scored 3 touchdowns. Certainly the most spectacular came on the tail end of a prayer of a pass by quarterback Vince Ferragamo. Tyler's prayer of thanks proved justified, for another look reveals that although Ferragamo's pass was majestic indeed, Tyler was sandwiched and spread-eagled in midair between 3 defenders. Alas, Tyler's heroics were not enough to bail out the Rams' steadily sinking ship. The recent fortunes of the 49ers have also sunk to the waterline, but with a helmsman like Joe Montana and his crew of sure-handed Hardys, San Francisco seems on the verge of righting their leaky vessel. '49er heroes abounded. Everyone knows tight end Russ Francis, the former all-world javelin champion, and number 87 Dwight Clark, the NFL's leading receiver. The player nobody knew anything about was running back Jeff Moore, number 25. Moore, a reject from the Seattle Seahawks, scored 3 touchdowns and led the suddenly revitalized 49ers to a 30-24 victory. While the 49ers were undoubtedly last year's Cinderella, the glass slipper fits nicely this season on the collective feet of the hard-charging New Orleans Saints. The tough young Saint defense has held up surprisingly well during this abbreviated season, and so has quarterback Ken Stabler and his core of no-name receivers. Facing the hard-hitting Tampa Bay Bucks, players like Jeff Groth, number 86, and rookie Kenny Duckett, number 83, weathered some fearsome punishment. The Saints rolled up an uncharacteristic 300 yards passing and held the Bucks in check until this Doug Williams touchdown to Kevin House. The Bucks led 13-10 until the Saints reached their 20-yard line in the final minute. But a penalty and a 13-yard loss forced a 60-yard field goal attempt by rookie Morton Anderson. Anderson missed by a foot, but it was as good as a mile as the Saints lost their second game of the season, 13-10. At Veterans Stadium, the Cardinals were missing their legs too. With O.J. Anderson in pinstripes instead of pads, it figured the Eagles would coast to a victory. But Philadelphia remained winless for the third straight game because of a 5-foot 9-inch dynamo named Stump Mitchell, number 30. Mitchell, a second-year player from the Citadel, finished second in the nation in rushing the year George Rogers won the Heisman. Used primarily as a special teams player before this game, Stump rushed for 145 yards and a touchdown. The Cardinals' domination of the Eagles was not reflected in the 23-20 score, a victory that all but eliminated the Eagles' postseason hopes. For the unheralded Stump Mitchell and the Cardinals, it was a stepping stone to the playoffs. Purposeful, workmanlike, efficient. Those words best describe Don Shula's Miami Dolphins. And last Sunday against Minnesota, the Dolphins exhibited those qualities to the fullest. Blitzing linebacker Larry Gordon, number 50, anchored Miami's defense, contributing 2 sacks and an interception as the Dolphins smothered Minnesota quarterback Tommy Kramer. The Dolphins held Kramer to 127 passing yards and intercepted him 3 times, this one by number 41, Fulton Walker. While Miami's defensive pressure stifled Kramer, Dolphins quarterback David Woodley remained calm in the face of a strong Minnesota pass rush. But offensively, the day belonged to Miami fullback Andre Franklin. Franklin, number 37, ran for 129 yards and scored the game-clinching touchdown in the fourth quarter as the Dolphins prevailed 22-14. While Miami won its fourth, the 1-3 Broncos were simply looking to gain a victory after 2 straight losses. Against the Falcons, Steve DeBerg fired a first-quarter touchdown pass to number 81, Steve Watson, as the Broncos led early 14-7, despite the punishing efforts of Falcons fullback William Andrews, number 31. After spotting the Broncos' 2 first-period touchdowns, the Atlanta defense asserted itself. Linebacker Buddy Curry, number 50, headed the Falcons' assault, blitzing untouched from his inside linebacker position to sack DeBerg. The Falcons' defensive bread and butter is the blitz, and it helped spark an Atlanta comeback by forcing a Broncos turnover deep in Denver territory. Steve Bartkowski began the Falcons' uprising with a short touchdown pass to tight end Junior Miller, number 80, as Atlanta bounced back to take a 24-20 third-quarter lead. The game's most important play came early in the fourth period. With Denver driving for the go-ahead score, DeBerg's pass to Steve Watson was jarred loose at the goal line and intercepted by Buddy Curry. It was the telling blow as Atlanta won 34-27 to remain firmly in the playoff chase. The same cannot be said of the Cleveland Browns. Against San Diego, the Browns turned in their second poor performance in a row. Dan Fouts' passing did not account for a touchdown, but it set up 4 first-half running scores, 2 each by James Brooks and number 46, Chuck Muncie. The second touchdown by Brooks, number 21, an 11-yard burst, gave the Chargers a 27-3 halftime lead. And even though Cleveland got brilliant second-half efforts from Brian Sipe and tight end Ozzie Newsome, the Browns were never in it. While the Browns seem to be going backwards, San Diego registered its second consecutive impressive win, 30-13. After 5 games, the playoff picture remained muddled as teams like the Browns still have a chance to rebound in the NFL's more liberal playoff structure.